And boom, we are live. It is a beautiful Saturday night tonight, and we're not doing the regular show where we talk about with a guest about certain niches and niches and practices that have been effective for them in making something out of the experience. No, something advantageous for sure. But tonight, let's just have relaxing Saturday night conversation about anything actually. I really want to know how everybody is doing. Like, how has the years been for you, you know? And this is for somebody who's actively changing things in their lives, not, just waiting around and they're having thoughts of like, um, I hope these things happen. Whereas, you either find opportunity around it and do something about it, and then, well, the results aren't necessarily what you pitched that was pitched in your mind initially, then, but you work your way through finding how to get there again, right? So for anybody who's watching, good evening. Where are you from? Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know how you're doing. This is just a regular normal chill Saturday night, I guess. And yeah, so I guess I'd start with me, right? So, so far, I have been really good. Opportunities have been reaching out to me in the marketing sense, like doing things that provoke good changes in people. But how they see it really depends on where my niches and markets are. So, and whatever tools I have with me, could be, ads, could be flyers, could be anything that can let people see something, hear something, feel something. Feel something is really the big deal for me, because if it's a lasting feeling, if it made a lasting impression on you, I'm really sure you can do something about it, around it, for it, because of it, for multiple reasons, for a long period of time. And most times, that's all you need to do something worthwhile. And if you notice, I'm looking over here because one wall of mine's like has like maps of meaning, I guess. So yeah, I like to look at it from time to time. So yeah, just, but the real question is, right, like, how do you find a good reason for doing something, right? That you want to feel and know that it would last long. It could be your thing in life, right? So I think you need to experiment a few times before you really find that thing. And experimenting fundamentally begins with a certain interest that arises of of of, of some sorts to you. It reveals itself as you go on with life. You perform certain acts around it. You judge the experience of how you've done it, and eventually you have conclusions around it. But honestly, right, like, how can you tell if it's right or wrong? Well, initially, I think it's mostly based on uh, values that are, imprinted primarily in us in life. Um, I guess we can't deny that, because that's like, a golden rule that you were born with it. You were uh, and when you do things in life, you know if it's right or wrong. So I think that's a good compass to look at when, oh yeah, that's definitely a good compass to look at when you do some things, right? The moral compass, it guides you to what's right and wrong in multiple levels of looking at how the endeavor or scenario is happening. You could look at what you're saying, is it true? Now that's a level of the adequacy you need to judge right and wrong, right? Like, is it true, or um, what you're about to say, is it right now in the moment? I know it's the truth, but do you really think it's what you need to say right now, or you can use a different mode of approach that can change the experience to something more that's leaning towards what you want to happen. So um, there's multiple ways to take the approach. What I don't like is when people don't think that there's another way into doing something that can alter, the fate of whatever you're trying to 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 bring forth. So um, it's my cousin just inviting me. So yeah, look at multiple levels of how you judge and your what you're doing, your thing, your endeavor, your thing, and see from there in multiple levels from uh, is it truthful again? Is it necessary what I'm about to say? If it's not that necessary yet, maybe a different mode of approach will sway the direction of something or it where you want it to go. So you have to be fluid enough to know that you have to be able to change in shapes and forms that can alter it to go there. I think situations, experiences are a great example for doing those, finding yourself in those situations where you can act on trying to change it to a good thing. But before you do that, you have to map out an idea of what a good thing is, right? um, so you have to go learning, right? Go wide. You have to go wide, then go deep on something uh, in your career or life. So I don't necessarily think um, there's one way to finding meaning and purpose and clarity, but you should probably start somewhere that has something that means something to you, you know, and well, whatever people say. I mean, if it the sways you into going there. I mean, you look at the people telling you these things like does it make sense to them what you saw, or are they the type of people that actually follow that feeling? So eventually you'll find along the way that it does make sense, that it's useful in the marketplace, it's useful in corporate settings, I guess, understanding yourself more, and then it leads to you understanding your peers, because I generally think, honestly and generally think that there's a connection between you and just other people, because well, what's so different about you? I mean, you've probably gone through 10 or 5 multiple things that you can relate in. Imagine how many more, right? So try to fix your own problems first by going through a lot of process, changing yourself, and trial and effort. Through that, you know, you'll find that substance of something meaningful, purposeful, and guiding you towards something that could be you in a career, in a understanding. Um, Offer it to people, your understanding, and then see from there how it grows more into something, plant perspectives, um, groom your seeds of hope where you found them, and then bring them forth into light, and manifest, use them to manifest something you care about, you know, because you understand so much. And well, building something worthwhile takes time because it's the people around you you persuade, you make believe your visions with them, and how vivid you can make the experience for them clearer as you speak, then probably you can articulate thoughts, plans, and people pay you money to articulate your plans into ideas, steps, processes that filter in and out in these platforms where people have already made. And then the judge is the people around your market or where you place yourself. They'll tell you if it's entertaining or not, you know? And well, what else can you use, right? So learn from your experiences. Try to fail at something meaningful to you. Mm, improves you greatly. The transformation process, I think, greatly is happening when you voluntarily participate in your interests. So if you think about it, what do I know? Right. So I think the mind retains the most information when it's partaking in something interesting to it, to the mind. And you can find that in many areas. But sometimes you have to dig deep in finding that interest because you have to have the second thought around it. You know, you can't just say, oh, this is really nice. But you have to like understand that there's a certain level of like effort in it before it shines again. That there's some meaning into this thing into these things that I'm doing. So once you find those things that glimmer with meaning, I'm probably hopeful that you can pick them up and share them around in your mind and let it influence you. Like, oh, traces of these are the nicest things that I've been doing life for my life for, using my time on. You know, and I think it's not necessary to most if it's difficult to find, but I do persuade people to partake in it because most especially it's it's a place of learning who you are and what you can be. And well, what does that mean, right? Well, if I can find meaning like that, right? Like I think you find meaning in that, then you can build a reputation around it because somebody who can use it, who's learned a great deal of it, can manipulate spaces around it that influence that area too. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can find your work, your interest or your career affecting different people in different areas and niches and markets. That I'm pretty sure if you're greatly influenced in with the impressions of how to influence those areas, but you have to be an individual, a human being of great understanding around it. Then you can probably build a name for yourself around it. You can find places to utilize it, those understandings, and well, build. Like I think that's what you want to leave a mark on after 10 years of doing some things, and that let me just share this video. Yeah, so build a credible line for yourself to rely on in your career when you find what your interest is. Um, Take some time off and just learn what you could possibly be doing the most best on with your time. And once you find that, don't let the idea seep out. Just do something. It doesn't necessarily mean right away, but make a plan. Why? Well, because you want to grow. Why do you want to grow? Well, because the experiences you're feeling right now in the current level has have been telling you that it's not a nice time right here. Well, well, that's that, I guess. So we'll probably spend a few more minutes in because I'm really enjoying my conversation. So yeah, find an interest and learn all about it. Um, you might say, some might say, well, I've learned, I know so much about it, and I'm not, well, good for you. But for people who has this idea of what that is and hasn't done anything about it yet, go for it. Try to make a difference around that idea. And whatever the outcome is, know that it doesn't necessarily mean it's the final cut of the endeavor. It just means you've laid down another puzzle piece in the process. And why is that hopeful in the sense of hope, right? Like why you should feel I can't remember actually good about it, adding more puzzle pieces into this massive board, right? Like, I mean, so you have the comprehension of peace of mind, you know? So yeah, I guess that's where it's found. That's where it begins to unravel its self understanding through the span of time. But you gotta have a good hook on it, latch on it. A wild bull has horns. You gotta grab on it, and it's like try to tame it. Why? Well, because what's more meaningful to you is where you should be found the most on working, and it transforms the human being through that process. But it has to be a voluntarily process. Um, it becomes more transformative that way because well, you're invested in fully with time and effort. And what else is there to do, right? With your time. So learning ourselves, I think, is the best use of our time. And what we like, what we don't like, because the span of our attention span greatly, resides in our interest too. So when you can find that interest, you can probably do the most longest thing that you can do. Because I hear, some people say they can't work on things because it's not they don't like it, to be honest, stuff. But for me, like, I think there's some hope there that you can learn that how to not make it look and sound like that, like it's a boring thing, because a human being needs work to sustain meaning, and meaning brings in peace of mind, and peace of mind gets you better sleep, you have a better experience in life. And I think that's what we all want for, right? Like we want better experiences in life, peaceful experiences, joyful, genuine experiences. So I think that's greatly found in having the long attention span, in doing something of your interest, and finding a place to fit it in. Because you got to pick a niche and market where you put this, so you get paid, so you get rewarded for your efforts in these endeavors, because well, you're a strong human being who's been doing so much in these spaces. So we'd like to thank you, says company, and other things that can provide you sustenance like that. So yeah. Well, with that being said, it's about to be 20 minutes. I'll catch you guys next time in the next video. We'll probably have a guest talk about great things again. I'll see you soon and have a great Saturday night. I'm going to enjoy more of my Saturday night and have a blast, everybody. Thank you and goodbye. Good night. Have a great night.